When a photo of a smiling, good-natured beagle appeared on social media, everyone thought it was lost. For 2 weeks, a beagle dog came to the feeding place of the stray cats in the mornings and evenings, as if on schedule. She stood aside and patiently waited until the cats had eaten, and then, with a guilty look, with her head cocked to the side, as if apologizing, she came over to finish the rest of the cat's breakfast. She ate every last morsel, diligently licked bowls and even the pavement. But as the days went by, no one called the ad for the found doggy. It was impossible to look at these pictures without shuddering in sympathy. The doggy was taken to the rescue by a kind woman, Irene, who has more than once helped a lot of homeless people in need. Irene herself has a girl of this breed, and the woman knew how harmless and good-natured beagles are. As expected, Irene caught the dog while she was feeding the cats. The leash and collar the little girl let her wear without the slightest objection. Irene and her daughter and the found baby went around the entire neighborhood, every alleyway, hoping that the doggy would turn out to be lost and point out her home. But, unfortunately, none of the houses aroused her interest. Conversations with people who were walking their four-legged pets also yielded no results. No one had ever seen this little dog before, either with or without owners. It was very strange, because usually dog owners communicate with each other, but here everyone just shrugged and wished good luck in finding owners. "Don't leave her there to fend for herself," Irene said to her daughter as she put the crumb in the car. And again, not the slightest resistance. The doggy knew exactly what a car is, and she immediately sat down in a chair, not on the floor on the diaper laid out for her. At home, Irene was in for a surprise, and not one. Hordes of fleas, ear mites, and even discharge from the mammary glands, which means that the dog is either fake pregnant or nursing. But there were no puppies around, no one found them or saw them. Also, the doggy was branded, so the first thing Irene did was to look for the owners. Though the brand was bright, even too bright for an older dog, it was impossible to distinguish it. The breeders from the kennels came to help, but they all said no. Such a dog was not in the database and was not familiar to them. There was speculation that one of the letters was wrong and the dog was stolen, but even changing the combination of letters in the stigma, we could not find any information. To this day, the story of how this unfortunate little dog appeared in the streets is still a mystery. An appointment at the veterinarian revealed that things are not rosy at all, as well as the whole of the dog's past life. The doggy served her former owners as a puppy-producing unit. Her body was clearly worn out. She was littering at a loss. Her teeth were worn down from being fed her bones, and her coat was dull and sparse due to improper feeding. To get her gastrointestinal function back on track, she was prescribed a veterinary specialty food. When her intestines began to work normally, the dog was switched to a special food, but she could only eat soaked as her teeth were gritted. Irene and her husband began to think of a name for the lost dog, and they tried all the dog names they could think of. Big Alusha flinched when she heard the name Alma. It was impossible to say exactly what name the dog reacted to. Perhaps her past name was either consonant with Alma, or that was her name. And the baby also knows what a couch is, and how to sleep on it comfortably. But she is also happy to lie down on the couch. She knows the car very well, and is not afraid to ride in it. She prefers the passenger seat, but not the rug. Alma is used to walking and is happy to accompany her handler Irene and her pet Chara on walks, goes to the country house and just enjoys family picnics. And now for the sad part. The beagle has its own peculiarities of behavior. The little one is panically afraid of shouting, sharp waving of hands or movements. I must say that Irene is a very kind person, and the method of education of the whip is not applied to anyone. But if we call out loudly or call out loudly at home, little Alma immediately shrinks down, is looking for a nook to hide and is also looking for support and protection from Irene's husband. So we came to the conclusion that the dog was regularly abused by a woman, and the man in the family interceded or tried to do so. Look at this girl. Look in her eyes. She is a miracle, not a dog. Totally good-natured, with no hint of aggression, a companion and partner in all games and activities. We can say about her that she is a goody-goody and inexhaustible source of optimism and positive emotions. How was it possible to hurt or even beat this creature? How was it possible to leave her alone to the mercy of fate on the street? It's hard to imagine what possessed a person to bring a dog in or take it far away, so it wouldn't come home, wouldn't get in the way and be a burden.